This is a channeling from Adama on the higher faculties and the lower faculties. As stated in previous channelings, the higher faculties and the lower faculties correspond with one's Ba and Ka respectively. The Ka when one awakens their Ka, they gain access to the lower faculties, such as physical healing of a very dense manner and manipulation of the elements, as well as telekinesis. When one awakens their Ba and undergoes a Kundalini awakening or rising, then they may awaken and gain access to their higher faculties. And the higher faculties are the clairs, such as clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, etc. For every sense that you have, there is a clair version of this sense. So, for example, if you have a sense of smell or a sense of touch, you can have a telepathic, if you will, sense that you receive these sensory inputs from your Ba. Now, a bit of etymology for those of you who are interested. The word clair translates to clear. So clairvoyant translates to clear seeing, and clairaudient translates to clear hearing. So that may perhaps allow you to gain a better perspective and full definition of these words. Now, tonight I will be speaking on these faculties and how one may go about awakening these bodies, and then once these bodies are awakened, how one may go about learning to tap into and control their higher and lower faculties, and how they may learn to harness them. So first we will begin with the lower faculties, for such is the way of things. Now, one may awaken their Ka, which is the part of their body that allows them access to their lower faculties, and one may awaken their Ka by tapping into their most innate and primal self. So for some people, this may be getting out in nature, and for others, this may be doing something that stimulates your animalistic urges in a carnal way, if you will. And indeed, that was a euphemism. Now, merely engaging in these activities will not necessarily be enough to awaken your Ka, so you must do this with the intention of awakening your Ka. And when you first reach out with the intention of awakening your Ka, you may not feel anything at first, for your Ka is indeed a part of yourself, and it will take time to differentiate this part of yourself, for it is not quite the same as differentiating another being from yourself, if that makes sense. So, for example, if a spirit guide comes in to your field, it is much more easy for you to identify this spirit guide than it may be for you to identify your Ka in isolation from the rest of you. However, if you're a very visual learner, you may visualize the two tetrahedron that we talked about in the first channeling on Metatron and tap into the horizontal tetrahedron that goes through your heart or solar plexus chakra. However, I would like it to be noted that for those who live from a solar plexus chakra, it may be increasingly more difficult for you to awaken your Ka, for your vibrational frequency of awareness may not be high enough to perceive the fourth dimensional vibrations of your Ka. So, if you would like more information on how to raise your vibration, please refer to the previous or the most recent channeling regarding the path to enlightenment. Now, once one's Ka is fully awakened and embodied, then they may gain access to their lower faculties. And as I have previously mentioned, some of these faculties are indeed physical healing in a dense form, and even emotional healing when the emotions are stored in the physical body, and also access to the elements and telekinesis are considered the lower faculties as well. Now, if you would wish to learn physical healing, the most basic way to do so is to visualize green light from your heart chakra or green energy from your heart chakra flowing from your heart through your arms and out your palms into whatever it is you wish to heal. If you are healing another person or a part of you that you are touching. However, if you are healing yourself, you do not necessarily need to touch that part of yourself in order to heal yourself. You may simply visualize the energy from your heart chakra traveling up or down your spine and to the part of you that you wish to heal. However, I would like it to be noted that if you are able to touch this part of you with both of your hands, this is recommended, for it will complete the circuit of energy and allow for more energy to flow through and to that spot that you wish to heal, as well as it will create an anchor point for your consciousness and allow you to more easily channel energy into that spot if you are new to this. Now, there are more advanced forms of healing. However, these require a very expansive and vast knowledge of not only human anatomy on a physical level, but also human anatomy on an energetic and vibrational level as well. For all of our energetic and physical bodies are combined into one, and if you make an alteration on the physical body, it will ripple through all of the other bodies, just as if you were to make an alteration on an energetic body such as the Ka or Ba, it would ripple through to the physical body as well, to a certain extent. However, the extent to which it will ripple through to the physical body will depend on one's level of sensitivity to these energy bodies and their awareness of these energy bodies. However, I digress slightly. Now, if you wish to learn more of these advanced healing practices, I would indeed recommend brushing up on your knowledge of these topics, and if you wish to learn how to enact them, I would recommend seeking out a mentor here in Telos. And as I have mentioned previously, you may simply do so by asking me, Adama, to take you to Telos as you are falling asleep, and I would be more than happy to do so for those in whose highest and best good it is to do so. Now, as for the connection to the elements, this is done by by centering one's consciousness in their ka, so bringing one's awareness to their ka in their energy body, and then once their awareness is within their ka, they may seek out the element which they wish to manipulate on the physical level. And once they have found this frequency of resonance within their own ka, they may begin to tie this resonance to the item in the physical world. And after it is fully tied, then and linked energetically to their own energy body, then they may begin to alter the element inside of their body, and the element outside of their body will take the same form and follow these alterations, as long as the alterations are small enough that one's energy can fully pass over the potential energy needed to perform this transformation. So a practical example of this would be if you decide to set a flame or a candle with a flame in front of you, and you wish to grow this flame, you will first tap into your ka and find your ka in your energy body, and then you will find the flame inside of you, and for most of you, it will most likely be somewhere in your sternum or your heart. Now, after you have found this flame inside of you, you must match it up to the flame that is outside of you exactly. So the flame inside of you will be mimicking the movements of the flame outside of you to a T, as you say. And you will know that you have completed in building this bridge when you intuitively seem to know how the flame will move next, and your internal flame will follow. Now, you may not be consciously aware of this link being formed in this manner. However, once the flame inside of you and the flame in reality or outside of you seem to sync up, then you will know that this is complete. And once this is complete, you may visualize the flame inside of your body growing little by little. And it is recommended for beginners to start with the smallest increments possible. And then as you begin to grow the flame bigger and bigger, you will see that the flame outside of you also follows this same pattern. And it may help for you to place your hands on either side of the flame. However, be aware of the heat of the flame, for when one is extremely concentrated, as they have to be for these kinds of connections to occur in the beginning, their concentration may slip and their hands may grow closer towards the flame to subconsciously increase the energetic fields surrounding your hands and the flame to increase the product of your work. Now, one may also do this by moving water or by manipulating air and moving a feather, as I have mentioned in previous channelings. And also, as I have mentioned in previous channelings, if you have an affinity for one specific element, then it may be easier for you to manipulate that element than it is for others. And usually a good way to find out if you have an affinity for one element over another is to look at your astrology. If you have many planets in the signs of one element or of a few elements, then it is most likely that you have an affinity for those elements. However, this does not mean that you cannot connect with the other elements, for every human incarnated on Earth may connect with all 5 elements, for every human on Earth is created from all 5 of these elements. And as a refresher for those who are not aware, the 5 elements are earth, wind, water, fire, and spirit. Now, as for telekinesis and manifestation, these are also considered lower faculties, for they involve manipulating reality on a quantum level, and this is indeed done using the Ka, for the Ka is our connection to physical reality on a quantum level. Now, one may manifest a specific outcome in their life by changing the vibrational frequency of their Ka. So, for example, if one finds themselves falling into a pattern of poverty and they wish to manifest wealth of money in their life, then they may find the wound of monetary lack in their Ka and seek to heal this wound. And once this wound is fully healed, they may then embody the physical vibration of monetary abundance, and they may find that their reality will shift to reflect this change as well. And this may be done with any outcome that one wishes, to varying degrees of success, depending on the reality and probability of this wish coming true, or this desire coming true, or this fate coming to pass, and also the capabilities and the capabilities and power of one's Ka. The word I'm trying to think of is somewhere between capabilities and power, but I cannot think of one, so we will just go with both of them for now. However, if one wishes to learn telekinesis, and for those who are not aware, telekinesis is the movement of physical objects using one's mind. This is also done using the Ka, for this is also done by manipulating the physical reality in which we live on a quantum level. And in some instances, the times that you see telekinesis being performed to push an object, it may be done using a connection to the element of air. Now, ultimately, these probably do take both the same amount of skill to learn. However, it is just merely a different way to skin the cat, as you say. But telekinesis is done by creating a tether through reality using the quantum particles. So, for example, if one wishes to telekinetically move a cup across a table, they may either create a magnetic field or a vacuum behind this cup and use either one of those options to pull the cup backwards. Similarly, they may also use a sort of etheric tether or rope to pull the cup as well. And this is a much less physical form of telekinesis. However, it is still a form of telekinesis nonetheless. Now, the art of teleportation is also learned through the Ka. However, this is a very, perhaps not very, but a much more advanced technique than the ones previously listed, for it involves an awareness of the fabric of reality on a very, very vast level, and it involves folding the three-dimensional fabric of reality into the fourth dimension and connecting 2 points and merely stepping through the fourth dimension into the new location. And it can also be done by disassembling one's physical body on an energetic level and a physical level, and then moving through will the particles to this new place via simple visualization. This is a very simplified version of this technique, for this version of the technique of teleportation is very, very, very advanced. And it is most likely not something that any earth being will be able to, or any three-dimensional earth being will be able to accomplish in their lifetime, this channel included. However, if she tries very, very, very hard, she may eventually be able to accomplish the first method of teleportation, which, for a quick refresher, involved folding the fabric of reality. Now, you may think of this by taking a piece of fabric and laying it out on a flat surface, and then taking 2 points and pulling them together on this 2-dimensional surface. And this is similar to what teleportation looks like. However, instead of being in the second and third dimension, as is in this example, the teleportation that is performed in the third dimension is done using the fourth dimension. And occasionally even the fifth dimension if one is of the highest vibrational frequency. And if one is able to use the fifth dimension, this may ease their travel, for it will allow them to access more of source energy to fuel their travel. And there are also more beings on this fifth dimension who are able to aid them in this process as well. However, it is not recommended for you to try to learn teleportation until after you have mastered the basics of telekinesis, and it is not recommended for you to teleport yourself until you are able to teleport an object that is about your same size and weight. And once you are able to do so, it is recommended to start with small distances and then work your way up from there, and to work on accuracy. And one way to work on accuracy is to draw a circle on the ground, or perhaps lay a hula hoop down or some other circular object and attempt to teleport into that circle. For there is no point in learning teleportation if you have no control over it. For example, if you want to go to New York and end up in Timbuktu, that is no bueno, as you say. Alrighty then. But that is the extent of what I wish to speak on for the lower faculties tonight. And as always, if anybody has more questions about this, you are always welcome to ask to come visit Telos, for we always welcome new learners here. Now, as for the higher faculties, the higher faculties are associated with the Ba. And the Ba is one's energetic connection between their body in this incarnation and their higher self. Their Ba is the part of them that is incarnated. Their Ba is the part of themselves that is incarnated in this lifetime. However, there is still more of the higher self that is not incarnated in this lifetime, and we refer to that as the higher self, or the soul in its purest form. Now, the higher faculties, as I have mentioned in previous channelings, may be accessed once one has completed a Kundalini awakening or rising, or if it is not in the cards for one to complete a Kundalini awakening or rising in this lifetime, then they may do so by awakening their lower faculties and working on grounding and balancing themselves before they work on accessing their higher faculties. Now, if you feel you have run into some kind of a block with your higher faculties, then you may seek help from your guides, or you may assess your energetic bodies to look for ties or things that are, or energetic bars or ropes that are keeping you connected to this body or blocking certain aspects. So, for example, if you are unable to astral travel, you may look into your astral body for items that are keeping you present in your body and not allowing you to leave. Or if you are unable to use your clairvoyance, then you may look for a sort of energetic eye patch that is keeping your third eye chakra blocked. Or for clairaudience, you may feel some sort of earplug or something to that effect, or earmuff perhaps. But it is all possible, so if you feel a sensation, do not doubt yourself and simply go with it and attempt to remove it and see if this helps your situation improve. And if it does not, then at the very least, you were practicing your visualization, and this is always beneficial. Now, I did mention astral travel, and I would like to note that this is a form of the higher faculties, but you may also astral travel using your Ka, as mentioned in previous channelings. But in this case, we will associate astral travel, as we are talking about it now, with the Ba, for it makes more sense to lump it in with the clairaudience and clairsentience and clairvoyance, for the nature of this endeavor, the nature of this action of astral projection is much more similar to the nature of the clairs, as we say, than it is to the nature of, say, manipulating an element or the physical reality around us. Now, it is also worth noting that when one leaves their body with their Ba or their Ka, they may have different abilities. So, for example, if you leave your body with your Ba, you may not be able to have any physical effect on the reality around you. Or if you do, it may take a lot of effort or be very minimal. However, if you leave your body with your Ka and you astral project with your Ka, you may still have access to all of your elemental powers or abilities, if you will, and at a very higher level of achievement and control, perhaps even the ability to connect to your telekinesis as well. However, that will take perhaps a bit more work for most people than it will to merely connect with your elemental abilities while you are out of your physical body and purely present in your Ka. Now, as for the clairs, I would like to explain a bit about the nature of these abilities and how they come to pass. So this channeling is a mix of a few different clairs. For some words, the channel receives them clairvoyantly. For some of them, she receives them clairsentiently, meaning clear feeling. So she just has the sensation of the word or the sensation of the emotion or message that we are trying to convey, as well as clear cognizance, which is clear knowing. And this is when the message is passed directly from my consciousness to hers, and she is able to just know the information without thinking about it. And finally, clairaudience is the last way in which she is receiving these messages, and that is by hearing, clear hearing. However, this is a new ability that is being awakened for her, so that is very minimal in these channelings as of right now. However, it may strengthen as necessity arises further down the line. And indeed, this necessity will arise once we begin covering information that the channel is less familiar with. For at the moment, we are still in the shallow end, as you say, but we will indeed venture into the deep end at some point. Now, the way that one receives these messages is by tapping into the frequency of the being or source which they would wish to receive the answers from. And there are many, many options for this. So, for example, you may tap into your higher self or your soul in its purest form, and you may clairsentiently or clairaudiently hear messages or clairvoyantly see messages from your higher self. But you may also do this with your guides and even with Source and Creator. And the limits are endless to the collectives and beings that you may connect with using your higher faculties. Now, there is a very widespread phenomenon at the moment of star seeds incarnating on Earth. And for those who are not aware, star seeds are beings whose soul is not initially from Earth, or whose soul is not an earthling, as we say. So this channel's soul, as I have mentioned in previous channelings, is originally from Lyra and Arcturus. So this being personally has a diverse galactic heritage, and there are many others present on Earth now who share this galactic heritage or who have other galactic heritages as well. For all of these star seeds are incarnating on Earth at this moment or through this time to aid in the three-dimensional Earth's ascension to the fifth dimension. Now, if you are a star seed, you may use your higher faculties to connect with your galactic family, and they may offer you many opportunities to progress down the path of enlightenment or progress further down your path in this lifetime. For even if you are not a star seed whose first life this is on Earth, or who chose to come to Earth for the sole purpose of helping with this ascension, you may still connect with your galactic family. Now, this may be the case for those of you, let me backtrack a little bit. For those of you who are wondering what I meant by that previous statement, there are some star seeds who have come to Earth in previous times who have unfortunately gained negative karma during their incarnation and were forced to come back to Earth, perhaps one or more times after their initial incarnation, to rid themselves of this negative karma. And many of these star seeds are incarnating now at this time due to the high vibrational nature of the Earth being more compatible with their high vibrational soul. So, just because you are a star seed incarnated on Earth right now does not mean that your sole purpose at this moment in your life is to help with the three-dimensional Earth's ascension to the fifth dimension. Your purpose may still be to clear your own karma, as was the case for this channel until about a couple months ago. However, please note that clearing your own karma does help clear the karma of the Earth as a collective. So even if you are not helping others, helping yourself still does help the whole. As they say in airplanes, you must put your oxygen mask on first before saving others. For if you are suffocating and trying to save others, you will not save nearly as many people as you will if you are breathing fine. So that being said, if you are a people pleaser or you have people pleaser tendencies, please note that this is a very prolific karmic lesson on Earth at this time, and you should not feel selfish for putting your own needs first. For you need to put your own oxygen mask on before you put on another's. You must save yourself before you save somebody else. for you are no use to anybody else when you yourself are drowning or suffocating. But that being said, that was a slight digression. However, it needed to be said. But back to the clairs. If one wishes to develop a specific clair ability, they may ask their guides or their higher self for this strengthening. And indeed, Marlena has done so, for she has always wished to see auras. I just think it'd be cool, It'd be fun. Indeed, it would be fun, and it is cool. And there are some pretty colors, as you say. Just call me out, Adama, jeez. I just like the pretty colors. But seeing one's aura is also a very functional ability, for it allows you insight into not only the way that they live their life, but also perhaps the life path that they have chosen for themselves. Now, there are many uses for many of the clair abilities and the higher faculties in general, but specifically the clairs. And each individual one has its own individual role in the mechanics of the human energetic body as a fully functioning unit. For when the human body in its current form is fully actualized and comes into its full potential, all of these higher and lower faculties will come online and will be allowed to strengthen at an exponential rate. Meaning that the more strength they gather, the quicker they will gather strength. Now, this is another way in which the earth is ascending to the fifth dimension, because for many years since the fall of Lemuria and Atlantis, these higher faculties have been made unavailable for many of the humans on earth due to their errant use of them in previous lifetimes. However, we are now being given another opportunity to learn these lessons and use our abilities and powers with great discrimination and great respect and responsibility for not only those around us, but also for Mother Gaia and the collective as a whole. Now, I would like to speak a bit on telepathy, because this is also a form of the higher faculties. However, it is also something that may be done on the level of the Ka as well, in a slightly different way. So as mentioned in a previous channeling, telempathy is a combination of the words telepathy and empathy. And it implies the use of the heart chakra and the third eye chakra in communication on an energetic level between two or more human beings. Now, this channel has experienced telepathy around her friends when, for example, they're looking for a phone charger. And she may not be consciously aware that that is what they were looking for, but she will find herself subconsciously picking up a phone charger and handing it to them, whether she is aware of it or not. And this is a form of telepathy. Now, one may also experience telepathy if you frequently say the same things as the person that you are hanging out with or that you are around. For telepathy is more of having the same thoughts at the same time and less of sharing thoughts. So telepathy is less of me having a thought and then sending it to Marlena, and then Marlena having a reactionary thought and sending it back to me. And it is more of us both tuning in to the same vibrational frequency that meets in the middle, and then each of us allowing our consciousness to take turns moving the vibrational frequency to convey the message that we wish to convey. So it is not a very visceral or verbal message in the traditional sense. It is much more of a conceptual or idea-based form of communication. And indeed, this makes it so that many humans currently are unaware of this ability because they are not aware that they are having thoughts that are not words. For even if you are not consciously thinking words, your consciousness is still having ideas and still processing input. And so you are still having thoughts that are occurring, whether they are in the form of words or not. And frequently, one may only experience their thoughts in words when they have the proper words to describe them. And if you do not let language limit your thinking, then you will find you have many more thoughts available to you. Now, to those of you who perhaps do not speak a foreign language or think purely in words, this may sound like gibberish. However, if you attempt to learn a language and you become fluent in this language, you may find it easier to express certain sentiments in that language versus another language. So, for example, there are many different types of there are many different words for love in Japanese and many different ways to say love in Japanese. For example, there is romantic love and platonic love, and they in Japanese, and they are two separate words, and you do not have to say romantic love or platonic love. You may just say those words. And there is separate words for saying that you love someone romantically and that you love somebody platonically. So if you speak Japanese as a second language, you may find it easier to express your love for somebody in Japanese because the language is more concise. However, if you are trying to express these sentiments in English, you may find this to be much more difficult because the words do not exist. And similarly, people who speak Japanese may have a tendency to categorize their love in a different way or a more concrete way, whereas people who speak English may lump in more types of love into one type of love. Or the way that they describe their love may be more generalized when compared to people who speak Japanese. And this is indeed similar, or a similar phenomenon to how one may communicate when using concepts and ideas. For, as I have just demonstrated, language can be very limiting, not only in one's expression, but also in one's thoughts. For if you do not have a word for something, then how can you conceive of it? The answer is you may only conceive of it if you do not allow language to limit your perception. However, this is a very difficult barrier to break, so if you wish for help with this, we recommend reaching out to guides or those of us here in Telos. Now, I would like to speak a little bit more on the energetic mechanisms behind these abilities. So these abilities traditionally stem from the upper three chakras in the energetic body of the Ba. However, if one has blockages in their lower chakras of the Ba as well, they may experience difficulties in accessing these higher faculties. So if your higher faculties are being blocked for some reason, or you feel you do not have full access to them, then I would recommend looking into the blockages of your energy body and locating them, then working through them and seeing if this helps. And if that does not help, then I recommend seeking help from guides or any other spiritual beings or ascended masters or angels, etc. However, the lower 3 chakras act as a counterweight between the higher 3 chakras, and the center of the balance is the heart chakra. So when one wishes to extend their higher faculties and use their higher faculties, then one way of them doing so will be for them to open up their crown chakra. And when they first do this, their crown chakra may be fully blown open. However, they must focus the energy of their crown chakra into perhaps a good way to visualize this is a laser coming out of the top of their head and extending into the heavens. This will allow the crown chakra energy to be more focused and more potent, and allow it to not only reach farther, but be more efficient in its goal. Now, once you have extended your energy in this way, you may reach out to the being with whom you wish to communicate, and if they agree to communicate with you in the way that you wish, then they may either begin communication there, or they may ask you to meet somewhere, whether it is in the astral realm, in a different world, or in your mind palace, or wherever you wish to meet. Or they may come into your energy body and sit down inside of your energy body. And if they indeed choose to do this, it may feel like a room has opened up inside of your third eye chakra, or at least that is how this channel describes it. But after this has been accomplished, you may have a conversation with this guide, or they may work with you in various different types of ways. And this is one method of using your higher faculties to connect to other beings. Now, the reason that I called the lower chakras a counterweight is because as far as your energy extends upwards into the heavens, your energy must also stay grounded in this earth. So before you leave your body, it is always recommended to perform a grounding exercise. And there are a few methods to choose from that this channel enjoys. One method, as she calls, is creating a fulcrum. And she does this by creating a sharp shard of her energy that descends directly from the bottoms of her feet deep into the earth and grounds her in this way. And another method is for one to imagine that there are roots growing from the bottom of their feet and sinking into the earth. And these roots may also help them draw up energy from the earth to fuel their higher chakras while they are not fully present in their body. Now, a final way for one to ground is to imagine that while they are standing or sitting, their body becomes suddenly extremely heavy and sinks a few inches into the ground. And that their body will only stay sunken into the ground in this way while they remain heavy. So in this method, you are forcing a part of yourself to remain in your physical body to keep it heavy in the visualization. However, if you find a way that is not mentioned here that works to help you ground yourself, definitely use that method, for there is no wrong answer in spirituality, merely only different paths to enlightenment, no matter how convoluted or backtracking they may seem. Now, channeling, as I have mentioned, is a combination of many of the higher faculties in tandem. However, this is not always the case. For if somebody is extremely well versed in clairvoyance, they may purely see the messages that are being channeled to them, and they may feel like they are reading out of a book of some sort. Or if one is extremely clairaudient, they may purely hear the message like their guide is talking to them in the flesh. However, this channel is currently using a combination of all of these methods because she is channeling with her Ka as a challenge to herself, for her Ka is not fully awakened yet. So once her Ka is fully awakened, then she may use all of her abilities in a more complete manner. However, until then, we are using a combination of the 4 I have mentioned earlier to ensure that the message that comes through is as accurate as possible. However, please note that our accuracy is still in the 80 to 90% range, so there are still some slip-ups here and there, for she is a beginner. And there is indeed a learning curve to this process, as there is to everything. And that being said, if you hear information or learn information from these channelings that does not resonate with you or does not seem quite right, please feel free to fact check it with not only Google, but also your other guides and your inner intuition. And if it does not resonate with you, simply leave it be and do not dwell on it further. For if a message does not resonate with you, then that probably means that it was not meant for you. Now, one way to tell if a message resonates with you or not is if you get chills or goosebumps when you hear it or you think the thought. Now, another way to find out if something resonates with you or not is to think about what it is you want to find out. Think about the thing it is that you want to find out resonates or not. And if it feels expansive in your heart, then it is resonant. And if it feels contractive in your heart, then it is not resonant. Similarly, resonance may also feel like the sensation of matching the pitch of somebody while singing, for that is a very visceral and audible form of vibrational resonance. So if you feel that sensation, or if you know what that sensation feels like and you feel that sensation, then that is indeed resonance. Now, I would also like to include a quick little instruction here on how to feel your energy body if you are not aware of it. And this simple instruction is how Marlena first learned how to feel her own energy body. And I wish I could offer you mine. However, my civilization and upbringing was much different than yours, so I do not remember mine. But if you look at your hand, without touching your hand, you can feel the skin on your hand, and you can feel it all over your body, even without touching it. Now, while still looking at your hand, feel the layer just below your hand. And it may feel like a sort of tingling sensation or a buzzing sensation, and it may start in your fingertips, or it may start wherever your sensation or wherever your intention is. However, you may grow this sensation to encompass your entire body, and that buzzing, that vibration, that electric sensation is your energy body. Now, which energy body it is depends on your bandwidth of frequency awareness. So if you are more aware of your Ba, then it is most likely your Ba. However, if you are more aware of your Ka, then it is most likely your Ka. However, if you are more aware of your etheric body, which is in between your physical body and your Ka, then it may be that as well. However, there is no way to truly know, and the only one who may fully discern this is you. So I would recommend practicing this quite a bit, and once you have become very well versed in this practice, then you may work on feeling the chakras in your body. And there are 7. And for information on the chakra system, you may read The Wheels of Life by Judith. I cannot remember her last name. Judith something. It begins with an A, Andromeda. It's not that, but it's something like that. But that book has quite a lot of in-depth knowledge on each of the chakras and the chakra system as a whole. And I believe it even touches a bit on Kundalini as well. However, that is all that we have for tonight, for the Ka is getting tired. However, it has been a pleasure as always. Toodaloo.